Are we going to see an increase in food prices? And for instance, what kind of, if we're talking about it in terms of percentage, how much percent do we expect to see an increase of the normal food price of foods that we actually see in the market, like maize, rice, sorghum, cassava, basic food crops that we necessarily be affected by this drought?
Before the rain, maize was affected. The tonnage of maize went up to as high as about 90,000 per ton. It has just come down to 55,000 now. Using the maize, the rain harvest, to really bring the price down. But if you look around my own farm, for example, now, you are not likely to see any other farm that is having anything near, having maize that is mature for harvest. That one now gives a serious concern, because if you don't have the means to be able to really harvest and process it, you have to really rely on nature, certainly, and it's the same nature that we are now trying to really address now.
So in the event that nature does come out and give us what the present that we're not particularly very excited about,
yes, and we cannot even prevent.
What amount of money should we be expecting people to spend on food? For instance, you said that now, because of the season that we're in, you'll be able to buy a ton of maize for about 55,000. Before, it was 90,000. In the eventuality that we have a drought, how much will a ton of maize be going for?
It can scale over 100,000. It could. Because let me give you a reason why it could be. The percentage of maize consumed by human beings directly is far less compared with what is being consumed by the livestock. So, and you will recollect that it happened before that you have to import to this country. So a lot of alternatives can something to be able to really feed the livestock and the like. So the best thing I think we should do now is at least to encourage fadama, encourage storage, and government also should encourage processing of these harvest so that we can preserve them. They will have a lot of storage, what you call strategic, all over the country. But how adequate are the storage? How adequate are they?
But there must be a kind of a farming or kind of program or scheme that the government, either the federal government or the state government, has actually put in place for such a time when you don't have so much rains coming in or so much water to water your crops and plants.
Well, I want to leave that one to you to research into, but to be able to answer your question, it's not the first time that it will happen. In history has happened before. You remember the case of Joseph. They have to take him out of prisons to become the prime minister in Egypt. And he was able to really educate the government then what needs to be done to preserve the food for 7 years and the like. So, but are we doing it right now? It's a question that is left for everyone to really answer.
So what I'm asking, as a farmer, you must definitely know of some programs or schemes or initiatives that the government has actually put up to ensure that, just like the proverbial Joseph who came out and gave the government such advice as regards the 7-year drought that the Israelites were experiencing at that particular point in time, could easily be tided over. I'm very sure that farmers such as yourself, who have been in this business for a while, would definitely have been beneficiaries of such scheme. What I'm actually talking about now is irrigation farming, because that's what we see a lot of farmers, practicing during the dry season.
Okay, so irrigation farming in Nigeria is what I refer to as fadama. Is have the blessings of the federal government, have the blessing of the World Bank and the like. But how much success of it is a question that we are really, asking. How much are you able to mitigate against the problem that is on hand? Because when farmers produce, when they have heavy and power harvest, I think government should come in and all over the world that I know, outside developing nation anyway, I think developing are the same because of maybe fauna and the like. They should have ahead of time, give the price. The government should be able to give a price. They want to buy a ton of meat, for example, for a ton of all other farm produce for. So the ahead of the time when you have produce. So if you are sure of being able to really meet your returns on investment on such products, then people will go into farming.
Okay.
But a situation where you leave individual farmers, the physics of nature, to go and face it, people will withdraw.
But has it always been, because you keep referring to what happens outside of Nigeria, what most countries have been doing, like Israel and the likes of it, has it always been a government-run project, this irrigation irrigation programs or schemes that we have? Should it always be a government-run thing, or should the private sector be encouraged more and more?
It should always be a partnership.
Between government and private sector?
Yes, all over the world, farming has never been left totally in the hand of the private hands. They always give a sort of encouragement. Even America. Even America. They always encourage farmers to produce such that the teeming population can feed. Because an hungry person is an hungry man. Once you're out of food, anything can cross the mind. Anything.
Now, looking at the situation that the World Bank has presented, it's a very gloomy one, and we know that the federal government has tried as much as possible to expand investment in irrigation to allow farmers produce all year round. Even recently, the vice president at a forum of economists actually spoke about it as well. But have these started to materialize? Have we started to see this? And apart from the ones that we have, the Fadama and the rest of it, are there other projects that are coming on stream to ensure that irrigation farming is actually encouraged among all farmers?
You see, the greatest challenge we have in this part of the world is that you have a large number of portfolio farmers who go about having all their cutlasses and chairs and the like inside their portfolio, rather than real farmers. Though I know federal government is trying hard, they have now started registering real farmers now on their farm and the like. But it may take a long time before you start getting results from such things. So I think they are on the right course, but how much they are able to really achieve is left as a question for you and me to really answer.
So are you saying that the projects, the schemes, the irrigation schemes that we have right now, are they enough?
It could never be. That I'm saying now. At the speed at which we are going, it could never be. Okay, I saw, when I was waiting there, I saw you saying the marketplaces, they are talking about tomato and the like. All these tomatoes were brought from the north. You remember there was a time when this Boko Haram thing started, and they refused, or they failed, whichever word we choose to use, to bring this thing down from the north. You know what really happened in the southwest?
No.
Okay. There were no tomatoes anywhere for anybody to buy. And the law of demand and supply will always prevail. When you are looking for a certain thing, you need it desperately, and you don't have it, you are willing to pay any price to get it. So, and this tomato we are talking about in the north is done by irrigation. It's done by irrigation. But outside even irrigation, you have issues that have to do with refertilizing the soil on which we will plant all these things. We depend more on fertilizers, and fertilizer cannot go around. So I am of the opinion that we should encourage organic fertilizer, which you have in abundance everywhere. It's a program of waste to wealth kind of program. All these things should be sized together, get them integrated together, so that we will get results.